Let's start. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं प्रकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं पितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा, वेलकम everyone. Will be continuing on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. We have reached till verse number 46. We'll recite from verse number 47. So please repeat after me from verse 47. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूर् मा ते संवत्स्य कर्मणि योगस्थः कर्माणि संगं त्यक्ता धनञ्जय सिद्धिरसिद्धयो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते दूरेण हि अवरं कर्म योगा धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणापदहेतव बुद्धिर्युक्तो जहातीह शुभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि पदं त्यक्ता मनीषिणा जन्मबन्ध विमुक्ता पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम् यदा ते मोहकलिलं बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यति तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदम् श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च श्रुतिविप्रतिपन्ना ते यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला समाधौ अचला तदा योगम् अवाप्स्यसि। अर्जुन उवाच स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधितस्य केशव स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत किमातीत व्रजेत किम्। श्री भगवान उवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मनि एवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञ तत्उच्यते दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहा वीतरागभयक्रोध स्थितधि मुनियुच्यते यः सर्वत्राभिस्नेहः तत्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दन्ति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यदा संहरते चायम् कूर्माङ्गानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियर्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते यततो हि अपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्तासीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्य इन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेष विमुक्तैस्तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्ये विधेयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिस्य उपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसः आशु बुद्धि पर्यावसिष्यते नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्ति अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां विचरताम् यद्मन अनुविधीयते तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञा वायुर्नावम् अवाम्बसि तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागृति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने अपूर्यमानम् अचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमाप प्रवशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामाय प्रवश्यन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमान् चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कार स शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विन्वियति स्थित्वा मस्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्माणमृच्छति हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So, in the second chapter, we have seen from verse number 11, 12 till 30th verse, when Krishna talks about Sankhya Yoga, which gives the analytical knowledge about the body and the soul. Then from verse 31, which mentions Sadharma Chapi Chaveksha. Sadharman api chaveksha. Aveksha means considering. If you consider your Swadharma, then what is your duty is to fight. What you will gain by that and what you will lose by that is mentioned till 38th verse, till 37th verse. It says in conclusion that Ato va prapsasi swargam. 37th verse. Ato va prapsasi sargam. Chitva va bhongshase mahim. Tasmad uttishta kaunteya. Yuddhaya krit nishchaya. If you are killed, Hato va prapsasi sargam. You will get the Swarga, Loka. Chitva va bhongshase mahim. And if you gain victory, then you will rule the kingdom. You will earn the kingdom. Tasmad, therefore, uttishta kaunteya, get up, yuddhaya krit nishchaya, with a determination to fight, considering that with full conviction. So in that way, if we see this verse 31 till 37, it talks about what you will gain, what you will lose. In both the case, it is gain. What is your benefit? So that is more kind of a karma kand, wherein one considers what benefit one gains. Then in verse 38, he tells him, he takes him a step forward, wherein he says that forget about victory and gain. You should fight for the sake of fighting. Sukha dukke same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. Tato yuddhaya yujjasva. Tato, therefore, yuddhaya yujjasva, for the sake of fighting. Naivam papam avapsasi. If you do like this, not considering what is the gain and victory, but considering as my duty to fight, I just fight for the sake of fighting. In short, it's my duty, given by whom? Supreme Lord. So with that attitude, if one fights for the sake of Supreme Lord, then what benefit one gets? Naivam papam avayapsati. The sins will not touch him. That means the reactions to the actions that one performs will not touch him. So that's how you see the change in the intention in which Krishna is telling him. Earlier he told him what you will get, what you will lose. There's nothing to lose. The kind of what you gain and lose. But here now he's telling, forget gain and lose. Even if you think that there's no gain in this endeavor, still you should fight with the spirit for just for the sake of fighting. In that spirit, you don't consider what I will gain or lose. And Prabhupada, of course, because he considers this as the Krishna conscious activity, when one does it for the sake of Krishna, as a devotee, everything has in mind that to please Krishna, right? But somebody who does not know Krishna as the Supreme Lord, whose goal is spirituality. You see, people say that I'm spiritual, right? They don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is to be pleased from all the Vedas, he is to be known. They don't know, but they want to be spiritual. And when for them the spiritual may be something like peeping deep inside, isn't it? Maybe yoga practices, dhyan on something inside, They don't know what is inside, but they know at least that we have a spirit soul, that they know. And realization, self-realization is knowing oneself to be the soul. That's their whole idea of spirituality, which is not wrong, right? Because when you say Krishna conscious, so isn't Atma a part of Krishna? Atma is a part of Krishna. So when we say, when Prabhupada says, be Krishna conscious or endeavor for Krishna consciousness, don't be focusing on the material, don't be materialistic. So aren't the people who don't know Krishna and they want to be spiritual and they are kind enough and they are practicing something dhyan for self-realization, aren't they Krishna conscious? Or aren't they practicing Krishna consciousness? Or is it only the devotees which coming to ISKCON and chanting Hare Krishna are practicing Krishna consciousness? Aren't the people who are meditating for long hours to find out that they are the spirit soul? Or those who have realized the spirits, their spirit soul, and they are doing dhyan, samadhi, they are in that yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Aren't they Krishna conscious? Aren't they practicing Krishna consciousness? So, is only meditation on Krishna a Krishna conscious activity? So you are all meditating on Krishna or you are chanting Krishna's name? We are chanting Krishna's name. So they are meditating on Atma. So are they Krishna conscious?
Partially we can say, Master, partially Krishna conscious.
Yeah, partially. Correct. Partially. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita says that, Bhagavatam, it says that, Vadanti te tattva vidas. Vadanti, speak tattva vidas. Those who are knowing the tattva knowledge, the truth. Jnanam yad brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabhyate. That transcendental is either by Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagwan. So even the Brahman aspect comes under Krishna consciousness. Our only thing is it's not complete, it's incomplete. Paramatma, huh? Yeah, yes, like 20 rupees, 50 rupees, and 100 rupees, right? So Krishna consciousness does not only mean 100 rupees. Of course, that is the highest. You see, the name when Prabhupada was giving, people were telling International Society for God Consciousness. They were thinking, right? Which could have been. Because it's God consciousness. And God can be, even the nature is, when you see the nature, it reminds us of Krishna. Krishna says, I am the sun, I am the moon, the Prabha, I am the light of the sun and the moon. Prabhasmi Sasishurya. I am that. So isn't that Krishna consciousness? Whenever we see anything spiritual, which Atma is also spiritual, but that is not complete Krishna consciousness. Right? So sometimes we think that, oh, Krishna, oh, is Krishna conscious? Are you chanting? Yeah, he's Krishna conscious. This is not wrong. That is the highest. But we should also know that those who are trying to understand the soul, meditating, practicing other processes, they are also Krishna. They are also trying to be Krishna conscious, just like we are. Only difference is their goal is different. And therefore, they can be termed as not practicing pure devotional service. Okay? They may be practicing Ashtanga Yoga. Why? Because their goal is to realize Atma. Isn't it? Then Ashtanga. But when you say Krishna, Krishna encompasses Krishna, his avatar, and his devotees. In the definition of bhakti, of course. When we say Krishna, it comes Krishna, his devotees, his avatar. So that is the only limit. There does not come Brahman. Right? There does not come. Yeah? Anukullena Krishna Anushilanam. Krishna Anushilanam. Serving Krishna does not mean that somebody who is meditating on Atma in that definition. In Uttama Bhakti. So in Uttama Bhakti, Krishna means Krishna is avatar. Right? So when we say Krishna consciousness, then if it is pure devotional service, then Krishna and his avatar. That much. But when you say Krishna consciousness involves Brahman, Atma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and that is also Krishna conscious. Why? Everything is Krishna, isn't it?
It is also said in Bhagavad Anand Sagar.
Ah,
People who are not practicing anything, enjoying themselves. There is also enjoyment. So like Anand, they are taking Anand in whatever they doing. So Krishna is Anand Sagar. They are also enjoying.
they also
There is some
enjoying.
aspect of Krishna
Like,
there also.
see, if somebody is enjoying sunlight. Huh? Devotees, when they see the sun, they see Krishna. Right? And with devotion, they are taking that sun rays. And somebody on the beach, naked, want to tan their skin, they're also taking sunlight. They don't know Krishna is the sun, but devotees, as you said, everything is it's Krishna, right? But they don't know, they have no intention of taking Krishna, they are taking sunlight. So can we say they are taking Krishna? Are they taking Krishna? They are not taking Krishna. But the intention is not Krishna. Intention is what? Body. Body is getting nourished by sunlight. They are bodily conscious.
That's why we see people who are focusing on the Atma, their intention is on Krishna.
So now their intention is not Krishna in the sense their intention is not Krishna as a person. Because they don't know only Krishna is a person. They are focusing on Atma. Why? Because maybe with person whom they are staying, they are frustrated. Right? And they do not want to get in any relationship. So they say that everything is mithya. This world is Maya. I have to get rid of it. So I am focusing on Om, Atma. You see? So this intention is they are rejected with the world and they renounce the world and they're focusing on Atma. So they are the candidates for Jnana Yoga. So in a Jnana Yoga, one has to reject the material world and then renounce the material world. उससे संन्यास लेना पड़ेगा and focus on knowledge. Knowledge of what? Material world is horrible. We are spiritual. Such kind of knowledge they get into. Upanishads. End of the Veda, that we are not this body, we are not this, we are not this. But who are we? Oh, don't ask. We are not this, we are not this. So in knowledge only they are absorbed. But when one is not so frustrated from the people of this world or from the things of this world, and you are not too attached. I want this, I want this. So if somebody is too attached, so they want to follow the scriptures to fulfill their needs, wants, then they are candidate for karma yoga. And somebody who is too frustrated from the material world, they are the candidate for jnana yoga. And one who is neither too frustrated nor too dejected, they are candidate for bhakti yoga. This 11th canto, chapter 20, mentions this. Who are the candidate for karma yoga, who are candidate for jnana yoga, and who are candidate for the bhakti yoga. So neither too dejected nor too attached. Right? So here, sukha dukkha samay kritva, same. Labha labho jaya jaya. Tata yuddhaya yujasva. Prabhupada says for the sake of Krishna, so he's talking about devotees, for the pleasure of Krishna. Isn't it? But somebody who is nishkam, he does not know Krishna, but he has heard one should be selfless. Selflessly giving. They do not know Krishna. They want to be selfless because they heard that by selflessness, one will be spiritual. So you'll find the people who are so selfless, they don't want their name, they'll just donate and go away. And you will see the devotee on other side who are chanting Hare Krishna. They are coming. Prabhu, announcement kab hoga? When many people will be there. Why? नहीं, I have that score, book distribution का. I'm thinking when to give. वो बोले कभी भी दो. तो जब फेस्टिवल रहेगा, बहुत सारे लोग रहेंगे, उस समय नाम आएगा तो अच्छा है ना. Is he a devotee, or if he is a devotee practicing Krishna consciousness, then who is that person who is detached, selfless? Who is greater? Sometimes situation, you see, and when people see that somebody is so behind, Prabhu, I have given that donation, my name has not come. Okay, they have not announced. What is this? Hell with all the people, I never give. They are fighting, you see, but chanting Hare Krishna. And there's one person who comes and he just gives and he says, so sir, what's your name? Where are you? So I just want to. And he goes away, never to be seen. Say, wow, what kind of devotees they are, what they are doing in the temple. Such people are only there, better people who are outside. It may happen, na? So we have to understand what process they are into, what is their concept, what is this devotee doing, what will happen to him. So he is the devotee who knows Krishna is the Supreme Lord. If Krishna is the Supreme Lord, then we are all part and parcel. And to be Krishna conscious, fully pleasing him, but should not be attached to name, fame, because as long as we are attached to the name, fame, we will not be that Krishna conscious. Isn't it? But that devotee does not know that permutation and combination. He just has faith that Krishna is Supreme Lord. Goal is to please Krishna. But he has conditioning, he has his upbringing, and he has longings wherein he wants some name, fame. He does not know that if you have that name, fame, you won't be able to chant properly, like completely, purely. Because, na dhanam, na janam, na sundari, kavitam, ma jagadishatam, mama janmani janmanishware. Our only desire is to please Krishna. No this, that, name, fame. Only in that spirit, if we chant, then we'll be able to chant continuously. He has heard it, but he has not internalized it. He has not seen the connection that how this will not help. He just feels that I should be recognized in the temple. Why? Because I want to be the part of this temple. See, at least he has the faith. This is the temple where God, something good is happening, God consciousness. I want to be recognized. So what's wrong? It's not the perfect, but at least he's part. There is another person who is selfless because he has good upbringing, he has good sadhana, and he's like detached from this world. But he does not know that this all detachment is meant to be attached to Krishna. And he's so sattvic, nicely doing the things, politely, calmly. And intention is to understand the self. Understand the self. Because he has heard that understanding. Why? Because when somebody is calm, then he can deep inside think about his mind, intelligence, desires, not attachment. One can be in that situation. Very polished, polite, detached, but not attached to Krishna. So then, good, better than somebody who is attached to the material things. This person is good. But he is still not on the path of pure devotion service. Is that person on the path of pure devotion service? Is that person on the path of pure devotion service? Why is he not following pure devotional service? He's following something else. Is he following karma kant, karma yoga? Because in karma yoga, desire is to get something. Here he is following pure devotional service. He is not pure, but he is following. Ask him, what is your goal? What he will say? Please Krishna. He will not say, my goal is my name and fame. Is he telling like that? His goal is please Krishna. Become pure devotee, to go back to God. That is his goal. He may also have name, fame, desire, but his goal is not that. He's chanting, his goal is pure devotional service. But because of that conditioning, he has that. Anartha, that is anarthas. Right? But he's practicing Pure devotional service. And you all know what the result pure devotional practice of pure devotional service gives. It uproots what? Desire, which is the cause. It not only removes the sins, it also uproots the desire, which causes sin. But here is a person who is practicing. He may realize Atma, but later on, after Atma, what is to be known? After one understands Atma, he has to then progress further to know Paramatma. From there, he has to progress further to know Krishna, who is Paramatma within everyone's heart. So that is also the process. So that is a step-by-step process. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, by which one will know Paramatma also within the heart, Atma and Paramatma. And then Bhakti Yoga, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadate. Who is that Jnanavan? One who knows that he is not this body, he is the spirit soul. So such kind of Jnani, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many births, he comes to know what? Vasudeva Sarvaiti, everything is Krishna. That Paramatma is also Krishna. Then he catches whom? Krishna. Sudeva. And through Guru only he will come to Vasudeva Sarvaiti, Saha Mahatma Sudurlabha. That kind of Mahatma is very Durlabha. That is one process, step by step. But somebody who is like full with desire, ipi, but somehow by good will, Kona Bhagyavan, Jiv Brahmana Brahmite, Kona Bhagyavan, he got some Guru. And he had some faith, that Guru ignited that faith. And he had that faith and he started practicing. And see the results. See those hippies, sannyasis, preaching. What a change. Not Gaunam Janmanam, in this life only. Pure devotee. You've seen, right? We have seen, right? So that is the beauty of. So next time when we see somebody who is like, not having a good character, or who is like not a good character is like one should have a good character, but who has like, not a good upbringing because of his not polite and all, but practicing. And some person who is very polished but not devoted, not taken to, not knowing Krishna. So we appreciate the good qualities. And somebody who practices devotional service, slowly, good qualities will come. I'm not against the good qualities, because good qualities that will keep the people in Krishna consciousness, others people also, right? Because unless we show some hospitality outside people with a good character and nature, how will people get attracted? So that is needed. But if somebody does not have, one should not be so much bothered about, as long as that person is into chanting, following the process. Okay, coming back, 39th verse, which says that, so after this, there is a turn. Yeah. After this, there is a change. He says that, Esham te abhita sankhya buddhi yogam tu imam shunu. Up till now, I have spoken to you about Sankhya Yoga. Okay? Let her do the thing. Others here listen. This is better, no? No problem. It's become quiet. Online people also can hear nicely. So now this verse 39 is a changing, it shifts it tells, till now, Esham te Avita Sankhya, up till now I have given to this, you the analytical knowledge about the Atma and the body. Buddhi Yogam to Imam Shuno. And now hear about what? Buddhi Yoga. Now this Buddhi Yoga can mean Nishkam Karma Yoga also. This Buddhi Yoga can mean Bhakti Yoga also. If you see Baldev Vidya Bhushan, he takes systematically from knowing Atma, then Nishkam Karma Yoga. How to know that one is Atma? By following Nishkam Karma Yoga. Not attached to the the results of the action. Nishkam Karma Yoga. By that, what you will know? I am the spirit soul. After spirit soul, Ashtanga Yoga. By that, what you will know? I am not only the soul, within me also resides super soul. After that, what you will know? After that, Bhakti Yoga. So systematically he takes. So he says this Buddhi Yoga here means what? Nishkam Karma. Right? So in Nishkam Karma Yoga, one does not know who is Krishna, but he is detached from results of the work. So from Karma Yoga, he is going into Nishkam Karma Yoga. Correct? In Karma Yoga, what he is wanting? He wants the material results. In Nishkam Karma Yoga, what he is wanting? He does not want the material results. Okay? So this Buddhi Yoga can mean both the things. Prabhupada considers this Buddhi Yoga as devotional service. Somebody is in Krishna consciousness. Is that clear? Buddhi Yoga means Krishna conscious activities. Pure devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, yes. Buddhi Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Prabhupada considers. Right? But if you see Baldev Vidyabhushan, he will consider it as a Nishkam Karma Yoga, not the Bhakti Yoga. Both are right. Right? See, in this para, we read last time, second para of this verse 39. Arjuna had already accepted Krishna as a spiritual master by surrendering unto him. Shishyastam Shadi Mamtam Prapannam. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of Lord. See what all he uses? Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga is telling Karma Yoga, same thing. But technically, Karma Yoga is different from Buddhi Yoga, if you see. But Prabhupada is telling Karma Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is Karma Yoga, or in other words, practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. That is Bhakti Yoga. Isn't it? You know? So, even the Karma Yoga, when practiced only for the benefit of Krishna, for his pleasure, becomes Bhakti Yoga. Isn't it? Like somebody says, oh, devotees, they are like Karma Yogis, perfect Karma Yogis. They work for the pleasure of Krishna. That means Bhakti Yoga. Isn't it? But when you say technically, when you hear Karma Yoga, Bhagavad Gita talks about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, then you should know that Karma Yoga is not Bhakti Yoga. Right? That is different. Is that okay? Then, 40th verse, he talks about in this Abhikrama, Neha Abhikrama Nasho Asti Pratyavayo na Vidyate, Salpamapi Asya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Even little bit performed in Abhikrama, in this Buddhi Yoga, when little bit performed, Trayate Mahato Bhayat. When it delivers on from the biggest fear. Which is that biggest fear?
Death.
Death is the biggest fear, but after that, what happens? Huh? Getting back into the cycle of birth and death. That's the biggest fear. Coming back into the cycle of birth and death. That is the biggest fear. Especially the animal life. Especially the animal life. So biggest fear is that getting back into the animal life in this samsara. Because once into animal life, then what is the opportunity? One has to complete that whole cycle, then progressive cycle, and then human life. But if somebody performs little bit of this Buddhi Yoga, then what will happen? At least human life is guaranteed. If you read the purport, at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being. either in the family of a great cultural Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि एके इह कुरुनंदन बहुशाखायनंतश्च बुद्धया बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिना. So व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि eka iha means in this process. In which process? Buddhi yoga. In buddhi yoga, vyavasaya atmika buddhi. The intelligence is how? Intelligence is situated in one endeavor. Vyavasaya. What does the vyavasaya mean? Business. है ना, कौन सा व्यवसाय? But in Puranas, the vyavasaya means endeavor. If you search in a dictionary in Sanskrit or in Puranas, the vyavasaya means resolute determination or the endeavor. Therefore, Prabhupada, what he says, see, vyavasaya atmika. Vyavasaya atmika. So, atma means what? Atma can only mean soul. Huh? It can mean body also. It can mean mind also. It can mean intelligence also. Like somebody does atmahatya. What does that mean? Atma ko maar diya? No, then body ko maar diya. So atma can mean body also, depending upon the context. So here, no, means it's in Sanskrit, that word can have different meaning depending upon the context it is used. Like Atmani eva Atmatusta. In this now, Sita Pragya Muni, one whose mind is focused on the Atma. Such a Muni, Atmani Atmana eva tusta. That Atmani, through his mind, he is focused on what? Atma. In God. In Atma, in self or Supreme Lord, he is focused. So there Atmani means what? Mind. So the mind is focused on Atmana. Atma means what? Self. So based on the context, we have to see. So here, Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi. So, Buddhi means what? Intelligence here. So his Buddhi is fixed. His endeavor is fixed in one thing only. In this path. That I want to realize self or Krishna. Right? So he's resolute. See, he's resolute in Krishna consciousness. So Vyavasaya, his endeavor is fixed. So Vyavasaya Atmika. So Vyavasaya Atmika means, see, Atmika root. Atmika means the root, nature. है ना, बोलते हैं अरे इसकी आत्मा में तो बस वो लड़की ही है. Means what? In his mind, उसके मन में वो that person is only there. है ना? और you are my Atma. Means what? You are my, from which one gets nourished. See, the Atma means what? By which one gets nourished. Shall now ask you, पेड़ों की आत्मा क्या है? कहाँ पे है? जड़ में. Why? They get nourishment from it. Similarly, a buddhi, vyavasaya atmika buddhi. So vyavasaya means resolute, endeavor. Atmika, atmika the root, right? And buddhi, how is the buddhi should be? In buddhi yoga, in Krishna consciousness, the person's endeavor is fixed on only one thing, to please Krishna. You see, his all endeavor, determination. So his व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि. ऐसा नहीं कि उसका बिजनेस एक ही है, कृष्ण को खुश करना. You can say that also. उसका एक ही बिजनेस है. But his व्यवसाय does not mean business here. व्यवसाय means the endeavor. His endeavor is fully into one. Like here you see the people who are coming to ISKCON. You see they come in the morning, they do chant, then they go home, they go to the job, then they cook, they offer, and they do bhajan, they come for program. What does that show? His endeavor is focused in one direction. But those who does not connected to ISKCON or say Krishna consciousness, what all they do? They also bell bajao and agarbatti ghumao and Satyanarayan puja and this puja and that puja. And somebody says, "Acha, ye nahi hoga, business nahi hoga, ye puja kar lo." So many. Bahushakha yanantasya. Bahushakha. So many categories, subdivisions. Anantasya. There is no end. Why no end? Because desire has no end. People who has no fixed desire to please Krishna, they have so many other desires. Putra kamesti yagya kar lo, ye yagya kar lo. See the people who are does not know that only to be in Krishna, to please Krishna is one. Those who are even in other, you see, Pushti Margya people, they follow Krishna consciousness, but they also ye yagya kar lo, iske प्राप्त करने के लिए ये भी है. So that is by culture they are following, but other things also they want. So resolute, not fixed. So therefore, Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi. So Buddhi is whose root is one. Practice endeavor is one. Eka iha kurunandana. Eka. It's one. Iha means what? In this process. In which process? Buddhi Yoga process. We are discussing about Buddhi Yoga, right? Therefore, you see, Shraddha, how Prabhupada starts. The strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. See that faith, somebody having, how will that resolute determination come? बस यही करने का. When somebody has faith, कि कृष्ण भक्ति कैला सर्व कर्म कृत होए. If somebody has that, कि कृष्ण की भक्ति करने से सब कुछ हासिल हो जाएगा. So when that faith is there, then the purpose or the endeavor will be fixed, ना. और if somebody बोलते नहीं ये तो करना है, लेकिन घर भी तो संभालना है, बिजनेस भी तो देखना है, बच्चों को भी तो संभालना है, जॉब भी तो करना है, बट कितना, हाउ मच टाइम यू विल गिव. ये करने से सब कुछ, क्योंकि ये तो लाइफ करते ही आ रहे हैं. इन ऑल एनिमल लाइफ यू हैव डन दिस. डज नॉट मीन टू निग्लेक्ट दैट, बट resolute purpose will come when somebody understands that Krishna bhakti के लिए सब कुछ हो जाए. You see Tukaram Maharaj, how he got his daughters married. They were grown up. He knew that, but he was always absorbed in what? पांडुरंग विठल, पांडुरंग विठल. अय्यो इतनी बड़ी हो गई और तुमको शादी का भी उसको सोच नहीं रहे हो. कैसे हो तुम, ऐसे ही हो. Who is telling? Wife. And he's like, oh, he is standing and then wife, somebody says him, oh ऐसा क्या? And he goes out. See, he has come to external sense, and he goes out, and the two boys were playing. He catches hold of them and gets married to her daughter, to his daughter. Can you imagine how? You see, so absorbed, strong faith. By practicing Krishna consciousness, everything will happen nicely on him. Is that he has that faith? Now, I am not telling we have to do like this, huh? Not at all, because we are not in that situation. But the point is, his faith, his Vyavasaya Atmika is fixed. Krishna Bhakti ke liye sab kuch ho jayega. And it happened, right? For him, everything went well. Because what ends well, then everything that goes is well only. Because the end is well. Isn't it? So, a strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to highest perfection of life is called Vyavasaya Atmika. See, Shraddha Sabde Vishwas Kahe Shudrid Nischay. Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krit Hoye. See, the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is a rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. And by watering the root of the tree, one automatically distributes waters to the leaves and branches. So by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the higher service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, then everyone will be satisfied. So somebody who leaves everything and does not practice Krishna consciousness, then he will be beaten nicely. Isn't it? Huh? Yeah, then we'll be beaten nicely. Why? Because he left other responsibilities which are to be done. If somebody is struggling, then of course it's not like that, because he's trying to overcome Janartha, right? But somebody who does not practice and then leaves other responsibility, then that will be beaten up. And then of course, Yam Imam Pushpitam Vachan Pravadanti Avipaschita Vedvad Rata. Vedvad Rata, जिसकी रति वेद वाक्यों में है. Which talks about Pushpitam Vacha, you will gain this flowery words. So the Vedas are filled with flowery words. You know the flowers, what is the quality of a flower? They attract. So when we read the Vedas, if somebody does Chaturmas, then he will get fruit of this yagya, that yagya. And you see some devotees also follow Chaturmas. Come from Brahminical culture who have that hearing and understanding that if you do Chaturmas, this will happen in Chaturmas, this should not be done, this paap lagta hai, ye karne se ye milta hai. And they will follow that. They will not cut, shave, or they will fast. They do Chaturmas. I'm not telling not to do, but if intention is that scripture says we should follow, by Chaturmas to karna hi chahiye, Shastra bolta hai. But devotees follow Chaturmas for what sake? Pleasing Krishna. Austerity for pleasure of Krishna. But Prabhupada has not told such activities to be done. As Prabhupada told that my devotee in ISKCON during Chaturmas, they should have beard, they should not shave, they should. Prabhupada has said no. But then other sanstha who are also following Krishna consciousness, they may have their guru would have told them. So now if ISKCON devotees does, then is that wrong? Now somebody who may be from that Brahminical culture and who thinks, अरे नहीं शास्त्र बोल रहा है, he attached to the flowery words of the Vedas and doing it. And somebody who maybe just does not know all this thing and understands that Chaturmas is good to do austerities, right? So for pleasure of Krishna, I want to do something more. Chanting 16 rounds, more rounds, following all regulative principles, wants to do more. So Chaturmas has come, let me do something. Not shave, not do. See, the intention matters. Intention matters. Why one is doing what he is doing, he or she is doing. Intention matters. So, one is not attached to this flowery language, right? Yeah. Imam Pushmil. So, men of the small language are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommends fruitive activities for the elevation to heavenly planets. Anyway, Bhog Aishwarya Prasakta Nam Tya Aprita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadho Na Vidyate. Somebody is too attached to this Aishwarya, Bhoga and Aishwarya. व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि. अरे जपा ही नहीं करता है, अरे मंदिर में नहीं आता है. Why? Resolute determination does not arise. Why? So much desire. Understand? That person has so much desire. कुछ चैंटिंग को टाइम नहीं मिलता है. क्यों? जॉब जाना पड़ता है, ये करना पड़ता है, ये करना पड़ता है. Why? So much desire. Because by doing that, what one will get something, na? By doing job, one will get money. By doing this, one will get हेल्थ भी ध्यान देना पड़ता है, बरोबर ना? क्या नहीं बोलेंगे डिवोटी? हेल्थ खराब होगी तो अपने पे आएगा. हेल्थ भी देखना पड़ता है, जॉब भी देखना पड़ता है, बीवी बच्चों को संभालना पड़ता है, ये करना पड़ता है, जपा को टाइम नहीं मिलता. सो भोग ऐश्वर्य प्रसक्ता नाम त्या अप्रुत चेतसाम. चेतना में बहुत भोग ऐश्वर्य भरा है. व्यवसाय आत्मिका बुद्धि, that resolute determination and endeavor to samadho na vidyate. See, samadhi means fixed in Krishna consciousness, does not arise. Therefore, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. Bhava means आप हो जाओ वैसे. Nistraigunya. Nistraigunya. Traigunya Vedaya, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. So Vedas are filled with what? Three gunatmak things. Huh? With the subjects of pertaining to the three modes of material nature. The Vedas are filled with the subject matter of pertaining to three modes of the material nature. Right? Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Are the Vedas three guna? Are the Vedas into three? Vedas is into three guna? Or the Vishaya of the Vedas is three guna?
Vedas are
तो जो
pure.
है वेद त्रिगुणात्मक है यानी वेद is under the control of mode of material nature, then we are practicing devotional service from reading from the Veda. But if Vedas are in the three modes, how can we take shelter of Vedas? So Vedas talk both the things. It talks about the three gunatmak things and also gunatita things. But what is Krishna telling? Krishna is telling, see, Vedas talk as the Vedas deal mainly, not completely, mostly, mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. Means if you do this yagya, you will get this, Puttrakam Eshti yagya, this yagya, that. So Vedas mostly talk about it. So Traigunya Vishaya Veda. But how you should become? Nistraigunya. Nistraigunya. Means what? Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. Transcendental to three modes of the material nature. You become transcendental. How will one become transcendental? By practicing bhakti or reading, that is devotional. Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshemam Atmavan. Atmavan. Focus on what? Atmavan. For those who are focusing on Atma, self-realization. But for those who are in Krishna consciousness, focus on what? Krishna. Clear? Next. यावन अर्थोदपाने सर्वत्र संप्लुतोदके तावन सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. All the purpose served by the small well can at once be served by the great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served by one who knows the purpose behind them. So the Vedas are like a. So Vedas, in the Vedas, there are so many things. So if somebody says, if I have to go to the Vedas, read all, how will one reach the conclusion? You have to read completely. So Krishna says, if somebody we should take what we need from the Vedas, like water, reservoir of water, like in the lake, and also one small pond. The well will suffice, right? But if somebody has the pond, big pond, everything is included in that, right? So yavan artha udapani. So somebody who knows that if by following the Vedas, from the Vedas, if Krishna is to be known, if somebody who knows the purpose of the Veda is to know Krishna, then what he will do? Just he takes that portion of the Vedas which talks about Krishna. He takes that portion of the Vedas which talks about Krishna. Isn't it? Because from all the Vedas, if Krishna is to be known, and the Veda is filled with so many things which is not directly pointing towards Krishna and also which points towards Krishna, then if he takes just only that portion, what is necessary, he does not spend so much time on that. That's why if somebody says Shruti Smriti Puranadi Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpadeva, like somebody who rejects Shruti, Smriti, Vedas, Puranas, and only performs texts very limited, then it creates disturbances. Therefore, when we say Shruti, then what in the Shruti from the Vedas? What? Not all the parts. Only that which is talking about Krishna. Only that much part is to be taken. So like this here, Prabhupada mentions. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturvu ma te samvastya karmani. So now if somebody who wants to focus on the Atma. So what is the practice? Practice is meditate on the Atma, but before that, person is so much attached. If somebody is attached, can he leave everything and focus on Atma? Like a Gyan Yogi? Gyan Yogi, you need what? Detachment, right? But somebody who is karmi, so what is the path for him? How does he start? How can he practice God consciousness, Krishna consciousness? What is the path you will recommend? What is the path you will recommend? See, outside world, everyone is attached, right? So what is the path recommended?
Karma,
Yes.
Karma Yoga, Prabhuji.
Karma Yoga. You'll recommend Karma Yoga for somebody who is in the outside world attached. All are attached. So what, as a devotee, what is the path? Huh? You'll tell him, see, I am practicing pure devotional service. My Guru Maharaj and the devotees gave me pure devotional service. But I am giving you Nishkam Karma Yoga. First question what he will ask is, why? What is Nishkam and what is pure devotional service? So what will give him Nishkam Karma Yoga? Bhakti Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga. Huh? Let's read something. Like what? And do you mean to say Bhagavad Gita is not under pure devotional service? Yeah. So we'll give him pure devotional service, right? Pure devotional service stuff, right? Right? But now we are going systematically, you see, Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Na? So here systematically progress is given. So now if somebody is attached to Karma Yoga, you see, Yam Imam Pushmitam Vacham, the three Guna Vishaya Veda, right? So now from that, we want him to realize God. So see what is being given. See, people are attached to karma. So what is being told here? Karma nevadhikaraste, your right to perform actions. But ma phaleshu kadatsit. So what is recommended? Nishkam karma yoga. Right? Nothing wrong. But see how Prabhupada says here, how he considers. We read the translation. Prabhupada directly hits at Krishna consciousness. Why? Because he does not want the people to get confused, Systematically, यही तो बोलेगा, अरे ये तो ये श्लोक में बोला है, कार्य कर्म करो, फ्रूट्स छोड़ दो. बीच में कृष्ण कहाँ से आ गया? So if somebody reads this one shloka, Prabhupada wants him to understand, Baba, karya karo, don't be attached to the result. Because offer everything to whom? Because who is the enjoyer? Krishna. See, added Krishna. So if you know Krishna, you can add in everything. Means you can connect that person, even in Nishkam, you can make that person Nishkam, not attached to the result, but add that result should go to Krishna. Means added what? Bhakti. See, that is the art Prabhupada is telling. Otherwise, somebody who does not know, you say, कुछ समझ में ना, सब में भक्ति भक्ति बोला है. कृष्ण कॉन्शियस कुछ का फ्लो है कि नहीं गीता में? तो ये गीता, if you read this Gita, then you see इसमें फ्लो दिया हुआ है. Yeah, but why Krishna? Why Prabhupada is giving directly Krishna? Because somebody who even reads little, he should know final thing. Krishna bhakti karo, not be attached to your results. But this verse per se is telling what? Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu. Right for the fruits. ठीक है, fruit की तो इच्छा नहीं, लेकिन कम से कम I have done it. मेरा नाम तो होना चाहिए ना. हाँ, करते हो तुम कन्हैया, मेरा नाम तो होना चाहिए ना. मेरा नाम हो रहा है, but do we need that? See, somebody who does not know, if they sing that bhajan, करते हो तुम कन्हैया, मेरा नाम हो रहा है, and somebody who does not have heard anything about what he will sing, अरे कृष्ण करते हैं, लेकिन मेरा नाम होता है इससे. कृष्ण की भक्ति करनी चाहिए ना, क्योंकि सब कृष्ण करेंगे, लेकिन नाम किसका होगा? मेरा. So see, he does not know, but when he comes to ISKCON and hears, first bombardment is what? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kamaya mam janmani janmani sware. Prabhupada said us that it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Shastakam, every day before chanting repeatedly, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadish kam. Bombardment. Therefore, going out from the mood of our Acharya, even though it is bhajan of, Krishna, Krishna, Radhe, Radhe, that our mood is what we have got the highest thing, pure thing. In that वो मजा मस्ती वाला है ना, राधे राधे बच्चे चले आएंगे बिहार, या बसी बिहारी. राधे राधे चले कृष्ण आएंगे, अरे क्या कृष्ण को क्या समझा गया. Therefore, that mood, you see, the mood is, see, it's all Krishna bhajan. I am not, see, people who are enjoying other music, this is good. But that should not be taken in, like masti, maja, and Radhe Radhe in the Vrindavan, and फिर दिल्ली में जाके business, my family, my this, on nicely, और फिर थोड़ा समय, क्योंकि इसमें frustration है ना, people are not happy in all this. Then थोड़ा समय अभी बहुत हो गया, बहुत परेशान हो गया, यहाँ पे भोग किया, कर्म योगा किया, अभी क्या करना है, अभी ज्ञान योगा को, भोग से परेशान हो गए तो त्याग करना है. बट त्याग भी ऐसा, त्याग में, ज्ञान योगा में त्याग करके क्या करते हैं, फोकसिंग ऑन कृष्णा और आत्मा. बट उसमें त्याग कैसा है, 2 दिन का. क्यों, क्योंकि भोग से इतना परेशान हो गया कि व्यक्ति अभी क्या करता है, त्याग करके राधे राधे, और उसको वहीं पे रखो, अभी वृंदावन छोड़ के मत जाओ, राधे राधे करते रहो. नहीं बाबा जी, लात खाने की आदत हो गई ना, हाँ, ऑफिस में जाना, इट्स हैबिट. पीपल आर accustomed to even frustration. They want that. थोड़ा 2 दिन आनंद भी मिलेगा, लेकिन वो आनंद में सिचुएट होना, कंसिस्टेंसली फॉलो करना, यू नीड सत्व गुण. यू नॉट एवरी टाइम कृष्णा विल गिव मजा. सो कर्मण्येव अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतु. वी डोंट थिंक दैट यू आर द डूअर. हाँ, कर्म फल हेतु भू, दैट आई एम द कॉज, हेतु मैं उसका कारण हूँ. डोंट थिंक. वो भी नहीं तो फिर करूँ ही क्यों काम, ना फ्रूट मिल रहा है, ना मेरा नाम हो रहा है, तो करूँ ही क्यों. माते संगो अस्ति अकर्मणि, संग मीन्स अटैचमेंट. माते संगो अस्ति अकर्मणि, मैं कर्म नहीं करने पे भी संग, डोंट बी अटैच्ड टू नॉट डूइंग योर वर्क आल्सो. कोई समझी जगह मेरे को कोई बेनिफिट नहीं है तो मैं क्यों करूं बाबा, है ना. डोंट बी अटैच्ड टू नॉट डूइंग योर सर्विस आल्सो. See last para, Prabhupada, how nicely. Can somebody read? I'm feeling a little cold here because it's bombarding by it. Yeah. Can somebody read this last para, 47th verse? One can be started with that. One, who are there?
Arjuna was therefore advised. Same. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. This non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for
So beautifully योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगम त्यक्ता धनंजय सिद्धि असिद्धि समय समो भूत्वा समत्वम योग युच्यते योगस्थ therefore be situated in yoga yogastha kuru karmani kuru means do karmani so perform your duty being equipoised situated in that yoga sangam what kind of yoga somebody may say kaun sa yoga asan kaun sa yoga brahmani yoga or what which yoga yogastha na situated in that yoga but here what yoga we are talking about technically which yoga verse 39
कर्म योगा
huh
कर्म योगा
till now we have spoken about Sankhya Yoga. Now I am going to speak about which yoga? Krishna says in
बुद्धि
39.
बुद्धि बुद्धि योग
Buddhi Yoga. We are talking about Buddhi Yoga, right? Which can also be Nishkam Karma Yoga or Prabhupada here takes it as a Bhakti Yoga. So Yogastha Kuru Sakarmani. So be situated in that yoga. Kuru Karmani. So you perform your actions being situated in that yoga. Sangam. And what kind of yoga is being that? Sangam Tyakta. See here now, this practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga, in that one should not be attached to what? Results. So Sangam Tyakta. Sangam means attachment. Sangam Tyakta. So by not being attached to the result, right? Sangam Tyakta Dhananjaya. Siddhi Asiddhi Sama Bhuktva. Means even in gaining something, victory or not gaining, right? In difficulties, in pains, or in gain. Siddhi Asiddhi Samo Bhutva, being equipoised. That kind of samatvam is a yoga uchyate, is called as yoga. So Krishna tells Arjuna to be that he should act in a yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. See, Prabhupada stretches it to the highest. Huh? Nowhere here it's Krishna is mentioned. Like, is Krishna mentioning mind, put your mind on me? Right? So if you want to take it by the flow, it is being talked about the do your work like previous work without attachment to the result. It's a Nishkam Karma Yoga. But Prabhupada is telling, stretching it to the highest and saying that what? What kind of yoga is that? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. See, no step by first control your senses, be detached. And after detachment, what will happen? So this verse will follow like this. By detachment, what you will gain? Because when you are detached to the result, sins will go away. Right? And the sins will go away. You will realize Atma, that you are the Atma. Then you will realize Paramatma. It is a systematic flow. Prabhupada is stretching it to the highest. Is Prabhupada wrong? No. Because at the end, what is to be known? Krishna. So Prabhupada is making yoga means this. And who is supreme? See, Krishna is saying, Prabhupada, who is supreme? The supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of the Krishna's dictation is the real yoga. And this is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only one can give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become a servant of Krishna or the servant of the Krishna. That is the right way of discharging duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya and as such he is participating in the Varnashram institution. It is said in the Vishnu Puran that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. दूरेण हि अवरम कर्म बुद्धि योगा धनंजय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणा फल हेतव दूरेण हि अवरम कर्म अवरम मीन्स abominable activity बुद्धि yoga dhananjaya compared to what buddhi yoga right so here oh dhananjaya keep abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Buddho sharanam anvicha and kripana falahetava. And those who are falahetava, those who hetu means one who are doing it for the purpose of getting results. Falahetava, who are they? They are kripana. They are very miser. Why miser? Miser means they are not spending, no, conjuice. Like money should be spent for something, right? Somebody has money, he has to spend wherever required, but he's not spending. So similarly, this human form of life has got, right? For what purpose God has given? Self-realization. But somebody who is not sparing what is for Krishna conscious activity or for self-realization, what does that mean? Miser. So miser is what miser does. He is earning money, but does not know from money it has to be used for health, knowledge, but he is earning money. He is saving money, does not spend. So similarly, a person who has got human form of life, he's supposed to spend that human form of life for understanding Krishna, in practicing Krishna consciousness. But instead, he's using it, he is not spending that human life, he's wasting that human life. Wasting in what? In the pursuits of karma yoga. So such a person is miser. So therefore comparison is given, buddhi yoga, and another is person who is working for results. Right? So Krishna is telling, Durena hi avaram karma. So what is this avaram karma here? Abominable activity. What is the abominable activity? Anything with attachment somebody does. Right? Anything with attachment somebody does. That's an abominable activity. Like one who has actually come to the understanding one's constitutional position as the eternal servant of a Lord, gives up all engagement save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, Buddhi Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruits of their own work. Only misers desire. See, who are the misers? They desire to enjoy the fruits of the work. So what is the topic we are discussing since last few shlokas? Work without attachment to results, right? So only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work, right? Just as to further entangle in the material bondage. Except for the work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continuously bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. All other activity, without the activity for Krishna consciousness, Buddhi Yoga, without attachment to the results, which removes the sins. Correct? So you are clear what he is talking about. What is the abominable activity here? Any activity which is not Krishna conscious, in simple terms. Right? So Durena hi avaram, keep away. Arjuna got confused with this. We are clear with this, but Arjuna, he got confused. When suppose he says, Durena hi avaram karma, keep far away the abominable activity. What he is going to do? He was supposed to fight, kill. So what he thought? Krishna is telling, keep away, kind of killing this activity far away. Buddhya sharanam, get into ध्यान करो. किसे बोल रहे हैं? भगवान का ध्यान करो. So Arjuna thought कि ये abominable activity है, मार धाड़. See the confusion, he got confused actually. Therefore in the next chapter, no, he will say that Baba, दोनों चीज बोल रहे हो आप, ध्यान भी लगाओ बोल रहे हो आत्मा में, क्योंकि now the series will start now. It will talk about somebody who has realized the Atma, Sthita Pragya. Somebody who has realized Atma, उसका क्या position है, उसका symptom क्या है, it will be spoken. So Arjuna is thinking, अच्छा आत्मा में ध्यान लगाना चाहिए, तो ये वर्ष बोल रहा है दूरी नहीं अवरम करना, एबोनिमेबल एक्टिविटी, तो लड़ना एबोनिमेबल, तो उसके दिमाग में वही है ना, नहीं लड़ना, क्यों लड़ना, इज अटैच्ड टू हिज ओन पीपल, so for him this activity is bad, this activity is bad. So when Krishna is saying keep away the abominable activity, but as per the glow, what is the abominable activity? Working for not Krishna conscious, working for desire of the result, है ना? Therefore, you see, one should therefore never desire to be the cause of the work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of the riches which they acquire by the good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energy working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate people do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. बुद्धि युक्तो जहाति उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्य योगः कर्मसु कौशलम. बुद्धि युक्तो, one who is in yukta, engaged in what? Buddhi yukta. Now you know buddhi yoga, without attachment to the result, or in short, Prabhupada sense, devotional service. So buddhi yukto, what does that do? Jahati, can get rid of. Ubhe sukruta duskrute, both sukruta and duskruta, both good and bad results. Means if somebody does good results, good activity, will get pious credits. But buddhi yoga destroys that also. Because if we perform pious activity, next life we'll have to come back to enjoy that. Therefore, when we do bhakti yoga, what happens? Or bad activities of the past karma, what it gets? It gets burned. It gets burned or nullified. It does not get nullified. Because any karma that we do, the karma phal does not get nullified. It has to be suffered. Means one has to suffer or one has to enjoy. भुगतना ही पड़ता है, Shastra says. But by performing Krishna conscious activity, it gets burned. And what about the activities one who is doing now? The activities one does now, it will go and sit into that go down, na? Sanchit karma, right? But it does not, वो चिपकता नहीं है. See, वो चिपकता नहीं है बोलते हैं. Why? It does not stick. Why that word is used? It does not stick. It's like in the leaf of that, on the lotus plant, leaf of the lotus, you see, you put water, चिपकता ही नहीं है. So one does not have to go through it. So when somebody performs bhakti yoga, this verse says that both pious, impious, सब चले जाता है. तो pious burn हो जाता है और impious चिपकता नहीं है. Are you getting? Pious का उसको कोई खेल ही नहीं है, because he is doing it for Krishna's pleasure. When even thinks that I am the enjoyer, I am the doer, then he has to get the results, suffer or enjoy the result. But somebody who thinks that I am not the doer, he thinks, na, karmanivadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, mahate karma phala hetu, don't think that he is the doer. He says that Krishna does it. And it's not like devotee, no, अरे प्रभु जी क्या तुमने वो कितना सेवा किया, क्या प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट किया, अरे नहीं नहीं. But internally he knows कि मैंने ही तो किया. He believes in that, but it's not to be shown. Why? Because he knows that कि वो बताना अच्छा नहीं है. तो सामने कैसा लगना चाहिए devotees के सामने, that he is not attached to, he should be known as one who is not attached to the doer, as a doing, he is doing. But inside, थोड़ा सा. So to as long as one has that, he will get affected by that. You are the doer. दे भाई अभी तुम इसका. But one who really understands that, no, see, I really could not do because it's Krishna has given this ability. I may be the instrument. It's actually Krishna who has done. So even if he gets that glory, he will not be that considering, yeah, I did it. So therefore, buddhi yokta chahati ube sukrita dushkrute, both good and bad. Tasmad yogaya yujjasva. Therefore, for yoga, tasmad yogaya yujjasva. Yoga, for the sake of devotional service, yujjasva, so be engaged. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. It's an art. Working in that yoga, in devotional service, is an art. What does that it mean? It's art. Drawing is an art. So working in Krishna consciousness is an art. What does that mean? Art means what? So what is the art here is working in such a way by which one does not get affected to the results, both good and bad. Such kind of activity by which one does not get affected by the good and the bad. That's an art. And how to do that? By working without attachment to the results. And in Prabhupada's language, by working in Krishna consciousness. But as per the flow, what is that? By not getting attached. Because by not getting attached, what will happen? Sins will not come, which both sins and good and pious, good and bad. You see, both are. कर्मजं बुद्धि युक्ता ही फलं त्यक्ता मनीषिणा जन्म बुद्धि विनिर्मुक्ता पदम गच्छन्ति अनामयम. कर्मजम, born out of, जन्म देता है ना, कर्मजम, born from the fruitive activities. So कर्मजम बुद्धि युक्ता ही, by being engaged in devotional service, फलम त्यक्ता मनीषिणा, फलम त्यक्ता. See, everywhere it's talking about the फल को त्याग देना, है ना? So being buddhi yukta means being in devotional service or being not attached to the result, being situated in buddhi yoga. What do the manishina do? Manishina means those who are munis, right? Great men. Karmajam buddhi yukta. Karmajam, born out of karma yoga, fruitive activities. Buddhi yukta hi phalam tyakta. They give up the results. Janma bandha vinirmukta. And in that way, they are liberated from what? The bondage of birth and death. Janma bandha vinirmukta. And when one is freed from the bondage of birth and death, then what will they achieve? Padam gachanti anamayam. They will go to the padam, that padam which is anamayam, without misery. Which is that padam? Spiritual word. Right? Okay. Please repeat after me this verse. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishati तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदम् श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च. Yada, when, tada, at that time. So when yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatitarishati, when your intelligence has surpassed out of that dense forest of delusion, tada gantasi nirvedam, then you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is being to be heard. Now, when your intelligence is passed out of dense forest of delusion, what is the forest of delusion here referred to? The words of the Vedas which talks about by doing this, you will get this, by doing that, you will get that. It eludes one, na? अरे ये करने से ये मिल जाएगा. If you invest here, you will get this. So naturally ध्यान जाता है ना? Isn't it? अरे इसमें डालेंगे. Somebody is in business, you just telling, अरे अभी ये भाव चल रहा है. If you invest here, no, it will. अरे क्या क्या कहाँ क्या tell me. So similarly, somebody who wants always कि तुम यहाँ ये पूजा करोगे तुमको ये मिल जाएगा. So somebody who wants that, it's a dense forest of illusion. Like for a devotee, अरे नीचे यज्ञ हो रहा है. अच्छा हाँ, नरसिंह यज्ञ चल रहा है और सब यज्ञ वो करने से तुम्हारे पूरे पाप नष्ट हो जाएंगे. I also want to participate. अभी यहाँ पे तुमको क्या सिखाया अभी तक लेक्चर में? जब करने से, राइट? अभी कुछ नया आ गया, कोई यज्ञ चालू किया है. अरे बाबा वो नहीं हो रहा है प्रभु जी, वरांदा में वो यज्ञ चल रहा है, वो महाराज बैठे हैं और वहाँ सब कीर्तन और वो यज्ञ कर रहे हैं. आई शुड पार्टिसिपेट ना, बट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द हाईएस्ट बीइंग गिवन टू यू, नथिंग इज मिसिंग. तो वो क्या चल रहा है? तो नए लोग हैं उनको भी थोड़ा तो दे लाइक ना कुछ किया तो है ना. But once they come, we have been given the perfect what is to be done. So yada te moha kalilam buddhi vyati once. Now this is the spiritual yagya, right, about Lord, but somewhere outside, some yagya happens. Then, if your intelligence has surpassed, even intelligence has surpassed, then solid of illusion, then one shall become indifferent. See, one will become indifferent. Does not matter. It's okay. Shruti vipratipanna te यदा स्थास्यति निश्चला समाधो अचला बुद्धि तदा योगम अवाप्स्यसि. Yeah. Somebody please read.
When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Veda, when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness.
Yes. So when the when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas and when it remains fixed in the trance of the self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Fixed on the trance of the self-realization. Right? So now here, when somebody whose heart is purified by the performance of the actions while being indifferent to the results, somebody who performs, right, one will attain knowledge of the Atma. And somebody who is purified by the performance of the actions while being indifferent to the results, right? Indifferent to the results, not attached to the results, right? Somebody who performs the activity, what will happen? They become purified. Fine. By being purified, what one gets the knowledge. But the question is, when will I get the direct realization of the Atma? Direct realization of the Atma. So when the intelligence becomes completely purified, Shruti vipratipanna te, when your mind no longer disturbed by the phenomena, when it remains fixed in the trance, Shruti vipratipanna te, through the statements of the Shruti, that action brings the knowledge of the Atma, and when the intelligence becomes devoid of the doubts and contrary conceptions about the objects and remains fixed without motion, Samadho achalas buddhi, nischala, yada sthasyati nischala. So when the intelligence becomes nischala, fixed, nischala, in the mind, samadho, like a flame in the windless place, then one has attained the characteristics of the realization of Atma. So the Atma, somebody who is focused on the Atma, when his intelligence is fixed without any movement, like this karne se ye milega, no, he's fixed on realization on Atma. Atma mein dhyan, one who is doing, then tada yogam apsasi. Then one should know that one has attained the realization of Atma, attained the divine consciousness. So here, what is being spoken is about a person who is realized the self, who is seeing the Atma, right? To say that one is in Samadhi is to say that one has fully realized Krishna consciousness. See, now Prabhupada is taking it to Krishna consciousness, right? That is one who is full Samadhi has realized Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. See, Prabhupada is telling, one who is in fully Krishna consciousness, in full Samadhi has realized Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. The highest perfection of self-realization is to understand that one is eternally the servant of Krishna and that one's only business is to discharge one's duties in Krishna consciousness. See, the Prabhupada is stressed and is clearly mentioning. A Krishna conscious person or unflinching devotee of Lord should not be disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, nor be engaged in fruitive activities for promotion to heavenly kingdom. In Krishna consciousness, one comes directly into communion with Krishna, and thus all directions from Krishna may be understood in that transcendental stage. One is sure to achieve results by such activities and attain conclusive knowledge. One has only to carry out the orders of Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master. So now, So this verse says that when the intelligence, so then one attains the realization of Atma. Now Arjuna is asking. Please repeat. Arjuna uvacha चितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधितस्य केशव स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत किमासीत व्रजेत किम. So here four questions are asked about that transcendental person who is fixed on Atma. In Prabhupada words, one who is in Krishna consciousness. Huh? So first is, what is this what are the symptoms? Sthita pragya. Sthita pragya means one who is situated in the fixed Krishna consciousness. Sthita pragya, or one who has realized the Atma. ठीक है? स्थित प्रज्ञ से का भाषा. अभी स्थित प्रज्ञ है वो जो डिवोटी है कृष्णा कॉन्शियस में कौन सी भाषा बोलता है? Does that mean that स्थित प्रज्ञ से का भाषा, what language he speaks? It does not mean that what is the language he is speaking in. Here bhasha means how do I see from the bhasha, what does the bhasha mean by bhasha? What do we do by using the bhasha? Communicate and makes the thing understand. We know certain thing by using language, by bhasha. Like if I want to express this about this, I have to use something. So bhasha, by using the bhasha, you make the thing know. Right? So if I want to know about the characteristics or the behavior, the symptom of one in Krishna consciousness or one who is knowing the self, then I have to use bhasha, by which that person will be known. How do I know? How is his behavior or what are his symptom? So therefore, sthita pragya ka bhasha. How do I understand about the sthita pragya? What are his symptoms? That is the question. Right? Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? You see, one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence. Mm, 54. Where is this? See, Prabhupada says, as there are symptoms of each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is in Krishna conscious has his particular nature, like talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a deceased man has his symptom by which he is known as a deceased, or as a learned man has his symptoms, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings, isn't it? One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how is the man in Krishna consciousness speak. For speech is the most important quality of a man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of Krishna conscious man is to speak only of Krishna and matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow. You see the rich person, how he walks, he'll remove his batwa. Kya hua? Kitna ho gaya? He'll remove anything. And immediately the beggar comes. You see? The beggar comes and saap de do na. Why? Because the way he dresses and the way he poses, it's clearly known. I remember when we were outside in some other countries, our company gave us a rule saying that, how you should pose yourself in outside country. We were in some Middle East country. So there in the city, near the president's office, our office was near the president's office. So it was a big company. So there they gave the instruction that always pose yourself very simple. Because 10 people are in that world, so they are like they don't know that outside people, they are watching them. And they'll be in radar. Mostly the foreigners, the American people who come. So therefore they are given the instruction, keep a low profile. Keep a low profile. So a rich man is known by their symptoms, by their behavior. So here, same Sthita Pragya, one who is in consciousness is fixed in the Atma. What is the symptoms? कुछ तो देखने से पता चलेगा ना. So what do you think about people in Krishna consciousness? क्या symptom होगा? See, Krishna conscious है ना? हाँ, one who is in fixed in Krishna consciousness. तो क्या बोलेंगे बोलो? Humility. What else? He'll talk about Krishna. What else? No attachment. Main चीज छोड़ दिया. Desires नहीं. Talk about Krishna. Love for Krishna. मेन चीज छोड़ दिया. हाँ. बोलो बोलो वही बोल रहा हूँ मैं. क्या? Always chanting ना बाबा. Chanting ही छोड़ दिया. Devotee Krishna consciousness will be chanting ना. Will be hearing, chanting, humble. बाकी तो qualities आ गए. The main thing will be सतत हरे कृष्ण जप, है ना? तभी आएगा ना रिजल्ट. अभी आंसर आना चाहिए ना. बट फ्लो क्या चल रहा है? व्हाट इज द फ्लो? वन हु इज attached, one who has realized Atma, that one is the Atma, right? So answer will be that. Don't think that answer will be what you will be chanting about Krishna, reading about Krishna as any. Prabhupada will take that also. Prabhupada will connect that also into how the devotee will be in that, how devotee fits into that, how devotees will fit into that. So, okay, so 4 questions. What is that? Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. Bhasha, bhasha. $54. So तीजा प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधि तस्य केशव स्थित किम प्रभाषेत. स्थितधि, see स्थितधि and स्थित pragya same, you know. स्थितधि किम प्रभाषेत. What does the प्रभाषेत means? Huh? Yes, Mataji, you say. Yeah. So how does he speak? How does he speak? She's not talking about his speech. No. He talks about how he speaks. But when you agitate that person, what comes out? When you agitate that person, how will he react? He'll respond. Yeah, how will he respond? You know. So
With
that is
anger.
So here does not mean that how he'll speak. He'll speak softly, politely. It's not like that. How will he respond to these situations? Okay. So Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta. When prabhasheta speak does not mean how, you know, he's speaking softly, not that way. When you instigate that person, how will he respond to the situation? Or when he's agitated, how will he respond to that situation? Or when he's glorified, how will he respond to that situation? Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta, kim asita. How does he? Asita means? Asita means? Asita, baito. How? So, but here does not mean how will he sit. एकदम आराम से आके बैठेगा, ऐसा नहीं है. Asita means when he's put into that instigating situation. How will we sit? Means how will we remain still, not respond, react. How he will control his senses. When agitating situations come, how will we control himself? Right? So he is just controlling his senses. Kim asita brajeta kim. But suppose if you give him a nice buffet party, then how he will react? He still has to control his senses. So when sense object comes, how will he control it? And when it comes, he has to work, no? Sometimes somebody comes and says, Maharaj, बहुत सारा पैसा है आपके लिए. Will he make the senses inside? Not using. He has to use it, na? So if he uses his senses, how he will use his senses? Right? Vrajeta kim. How he loosens his senses and also how he controls his senses. So kim asita, vaitana, how he controls his senses. And kim vrajeta kim, how he lets his senses, loses his senses, or lets his senses to be used. So first is the symptom, plain symptom. And third is when some situation arises, then how he responds. Right? So three questions are based on response to some situation, some scenario if arises. But first is general behavioral symptoms to recognize Sthita Pragya. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan Atmani Evatmana Tushta Sthita Pragyastadutchate. So, first question will be answered in this verse. Okay? Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Partha Manogatan. The Supreme Personality of God is said, O Partha, when a man gives up all the varieties of desires for the sense gratification which arise from the mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be the pure, in pure transcendental consciousness. So gives up varieties of desires for the sense gratification. Prajahati, jahati means gives up, jahati burn karna. So prajahati yada kaman, desires for the sense gratification. Sarvan partha manogatan. So this desire comes from what? Mind. Manogatan, mental concoction. Right? So somebody who gives up prajahati yada kaman, sense desire, sarvan partha manogatan. So after giving up, what does it do? He has given, he gives up. But situates atmani eva atmana tushta. Tushta means santushta. Santushta in what? In himself. Atmani atmana. So his atma is situated in himself. If atma means atma only, soul, तो आत्मा आत्मा में संतुष्ट रहेगी क्या? तो क्या बोल रहे देखो आत्मना. So what Prabhupada says, atmani eva atmana tushta. So atmani means in the pure state of the soul. Atmani eva atmana, by the purified mind. So you see, one is mind and one is the soul. So mind is satisfied in soul. Means what? In realizing the soul, in realizing or in self-realization, understanding that I am the soul, in that one is satisfied. Atmani eva atmana tushta sthita prajnastaduchyate. So that is the symptom. So this shows that it is about understanding that one is the spirit soul, right? So now how will Prabhupada translate, you see? The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully Krishna consciousness, in full Krishna consciousness or devotional service of Lord, has all the good qualities of the great sages, whereas a person who is not so transcendentally situated has no good qualities, because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. You see? Now you may say, but Prabhu, I have seen the devotees, they don't have good qualities. Naturally, na? Prabhupada is telling, the Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of a great sages, whereas the person who is not so transcendentally situated has no good qualification, because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoction. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kind of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, such sense desire cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation. For this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. See, Prabhupada would not have given this. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness. If Prabhupada would have explained this word as it is. Therefore, one has to focus on realizing the Atma by working for without the expectation of the result. The person will go and say that I will work without desire for the result. And realize Atma. But how will you realize Atma? For realizing Atma, one has to go to the forest, perform yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyah, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, which is not for this age. Now, Prabhupada should explain all these things. What he did, simply said what? Fully engaging Krishna consciousness. Because just knowing the Atma will not do. If one knows Krishna, Atma will also know. If one knows Krishna, one will know that he is also a spirit. So, one who understands Krishna will understand that all the living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. Right? Like, if we want to study light, energy, sunlight, right? But if you tell him about the sun, whose light, whose part, energy, light, knowing sun means knowing particle of the sun, right? But if you know particle of the sun, you will know something of the sun, but you will not everything of the sun, right? So when somebody knows Krishna, it's like knowing the sun, which includes the part of the sun. Therefore, Prabhupada is focusing on that. But the shloka per se is not telling about that. If it had been telling about that, then it would have told that, this person would always be chanting the names of Krishna, right? But the symptom is what? Symptom is telling that Prajati yada kaman sarvan partha manogata. Means all the desires which are coming from the mental concoction, one who gives up that. And is situated in Atma. Right? So that is the symptom. Fine. Now, verse 56 will give answer to the second question. (56) and 57 will answer the second question. What is the second question? How does he speaks? Fine. What does that mean? How does he speak means?
How does he react in the difficult situation? Provoking situation.
Yeah. How he will respond in agitating circumstances. ठीक है ना? Okay. दुखेषु अनुद्विग्नमना सुखेषु विगतस्पृहा वीतराग भय क्रोधा स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते दुखेषु अनुद्विग्नमना. Dukheshu, in the dukkha, right? In dukkha, anudvignamana, his mind is not agitated. Sukheshu, in happiness, vigata spriha, without being interested. Vita raga bhaya krodha, without attachment, fear, and anger. Stitadi muni taduchate, then is called Stitadi muni. In other words, when afflicted by the pain through his body or mind from other creatures or from nature, in his now dukheshu, dukha we get because of the three adhyatmic, adi bhautik, and adi devi, right? By other creatures, by one's own mind, and by whom? From demigods. The demigods also know. Adhyatmic, adi bhautik, adi devi. So Adhyatmic means one's own body and mind. See, Atmic, one's own body and mind. Adhyatmic. Adi Bhautik, others. Adhyatmic. Adi Daivik. Daivik means demigods, right? So when a person is afflicted by pain through his own body or mind, from other creatures or from the nature, that is dukkha. So dukheshu, his mind is undisturbed. What happens? His mind remains undisturbed. Anudvignamana. Dukheshu anudvignamana. So internally he says, or if asked by others, if somebody says, if asked by others, how are you doing? Or with a dukhi kyu ho? Because when that pain comes from other, if somebody asks them, or internally how he will think. So What he will say? This suffering is my prarabdha karma. This suffering is my prarabdha karma, which I must inevitably experience. And when he obtains delicious foods or good welcome, sukheshu, in sukha, good food, or somebody welcomes him nicely, then what he say? Internally he says, or if asked by others, he says aloud, without desire for enjoyment. This vigata spriha, without attached to the enjoyment, he says, this is also my prarabdha karma. He talks like this, which I am forced to accept it. And he does not show jubilation. He does not show jubilation. What Prabhupada says, Stitadi Muni tar uchyate. Then he is called a Stitadi Muni. So Prabhupada explained about what is the Muni. The word Muni means one who can agitate his mind in a various ways for mental speculation without coming to the factual conclusion. He can agitate his mind for various. So this is like a Jnana Yogi, who can speculate. Muni. It is said that every Muni has a different angle of vision. And unless a Muni differs from another Muni, he cannot be called a Muni in the strict sense of terms. But a Stitadi Muni, as mentioned herein by the Lord, is different from the ordinary Muni. See, the Muni by definition means somebody who is like, एक ने दूसरा बोला था, I have to speak another point of view. Otherwise, how can I be the Muni? Scripture को ऐसा धो के कच्चा खा देंगे. But here, Prabhupada says that the Stitadi Muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. See, he has exhausted the business of speculation, means he is not speculating anymore. He is called Prashanta Niheshesha Manorathena, or one who has surpassed the stage of mental speculation and has come to the conclusion that Lord Shri Krishna or Vasudeva is everything. Vasudeva Sarva iti Samatma Sudurlabha. He is called a Muni fixed in mind. Such a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold misery, for he accepts all the miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeed, and sees that his miseries by the grace of Lord are minimized to the lowest. I should have got more, but Lord has decreased it. That's how he sees the miseries. Similarly, when he is happy, he gives credit to the Lord, thinking himself unworthy of happiness. He realizes that it is due to only to the Lord's grace. By that, he is in such a comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. So when something goes wrong, what he says? Like, yeah, Krishna has given me less. I should have got more from my karma. But Krishna has reduced it. When who went with the cheap rice? Sudama. When he was returning, and he says, see, Krishna is so kind, he has not given me anything. So kind. Why? Because he knows, if he would have given me, I would have got attached. See, he's thinking in that way. So means whatever Krishna does, he will always take it positively. And for the service of the Lord, he is always daring and active and is not influenced by the attachment or aversion. And it does not mean that now for Lord's service, he is already active and he is ready to do anything. Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification. And detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. Very nice point. Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification. Detachment is absence of such sensual attachment. But one fixed in Krishna consciousness has neither attachment nor detachment, because his life is dedicated to the service of the Lord. Consequently, he is not at all angry even when his attempts are unsuccessful. See, rag here means what? See, rag, attachment, right? People get, when they get something pleasurable, they get attached, in the sense they want to do that activity repeatedly because they get pleasure out of it. So then what comes? Attachment. No? And they get attached. Then immediately comes the fear. What if I lose that? And if there is an obstacle in that pleasure, right? Then what comes? Anger. You see, so Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. So one who is freed from the Nita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Stitadir Muni taduchyate. Then is a Stitadir Muni. Please repeat after me next verse. Yah sarvatra bhisneha tattat prapya subhashubham नाभिनन्दन्ति न द्वेष्टि tasya prajna pratisthita. In this material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge. There is always some upheaval in the material world which may be good or bad. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in material body, there is always a possibility of good and evil because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by the good and evil because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in the perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. Yah sarvatra abhisneha tattat prapya shubha shubham. Whether you get good or bad, shubh or ashubh, one who is not unaffected by whatever good or evil he may attain. Na abhinandanti na dveshti. Abhinandanti, oh, कितना अच्छा है आप, कितने अच्छे हैं मेरे को. Somebody gives nice sweet rice or something, है ना? Oh, कितना अच्छा है ना, specific. Na abhinandanti na dveshti. Okay, I have one question here. यह सर्वत्र अभिस्नेह अनभिस्नेह. यह सर्वत्र अनभिस्नेह. सर्वत्र means in the situation of शुभ अशुभ. कभी शुभ मिलेगा, कुछ अच्छी चीज मिलेगी, कभी कोई नहीं देगा, कभी कोई गाली देगा. Like you go in a line for a prasadam. Somebody without coupon, चल आ जाओ, अरे अच्छा डिवोटी आ जाओ. And somebody, and then वो कितना अच्छा है, and we get. And somebody, अरे कूपन है, भागो यहाँ से. आ जाते हैं खाने के लिए. शुभ अशुभ. हाँ? So यह in such situation तत्तत् प्राप्य शुभाशुभम. यह सर्वत्र अनभिस्नेह. In all such circumstances, when one is anabhisneha means what? Yes, anabhisneha means what? Without affection. Without affection in all the situation. अच्छा बुरा में unaffected. पर यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Without affection. How will you explain? Affection होना चाहिए नहीं? Affection, is affection good or bad? Huh? How do you understand this sloka? I am just asking.
Affectionate means, Prabhuji, affectionate in related to Krishna consciousness means that we should be affectionate to that person and concerned with that person to connect to Krishna, so that all his condition get what should I say? Should I'm not getting words. Affection to someone else means in related to Krishna consciousness means connecting that person to Krishna. That is the biggest, highest affection we can show to anyone.
I'll read what Baldev Vidyabhushan says. Very important. See, he translates, he who has no motivated affections at all. Who has no motivated affections at all. Who does not rejoice on attaining good fortune or curse on attaining misfortune is situated in Pragya. Right? Now he translates, commentary. He is devoid of specific affection. He is devoid of specific affection. So, anabhisneha is not without affection. Because affection, we should have affection for everyone. So here he is telling he is devoid of specific affection for any living entity. For any living entity. Sarvatra. Yes, sarvatra abhisneha. So, sarvatra means for any living entity, he is devoid of specific affection. However, since he has a quality of compassion, he has a little general affection. Receiving favorable items such as fine offerings of food, garlands, or sandalwood which is called as Subha, he does not rejoice praising others with the words like, you are very righteous, may you live long. Are you getting? Nor does he show hatred when receiving unfavorable items such as being disrespected or hit with a stick. Ashubham. He does not curse, saying, you are a vile sinner, may you die. He is asthita pragya. Tasya pragnya pratisthita. This person is asthita pragya. See how well it is explained. That he is devoid of specific affection, anabhisnya, for any living entity, sarvatra. However, since he has a quality of compassion, he has a little general affection. Receiving favorable items such as fine clothing, offerings of food, garlands, or sandalwood, he does not rejoice, praising others with words like, you are very righteous, may you live longer. Nor does he show hatred when receiving unfavorable items such as being disrespected or hit with a stick. He does not curse, saying that you are a vile sinner, may you die. Because sometimes somebody gives us something and we say, oh, so nice, you are like, may aap jiyo, aap khush raho, aapke bacche. See, means that shows what? He has become very rejoiced. And when and that much rejoice will come, then somebody who behaves oppositely, then anger also will come.
Prabhuji, but
Yes.
we should appreciate in gratitude, right? If someone gives us something good, we should at least appreciate in gratitude, show some gratitude.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Is that right?
Yes. Appreciate, no? If somebody does good, you just thank them. Not being rejoiced. See, rejoicing and that comes out naturally. Oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, you are my best friend. Means what? Just because that person gave, he's a best friend, has become a best friend. Tomorrow that same person will give gali, then that opposite reaction will come. See, point here is, the person is equipoised. He's not like lalait ho jata hai, something one gets. And when unexpected thing happens, person gets so disturbed, agitated. That emotional, filled with emotional.
Prabhuji.
Of course, there are nature of the people, who are like very expressive. So we don't have to take it with, somebody who is like, really, when you give something from, oh, wow, yeah, I was looking for this, and wow, and you said, hey, sthita pragya. You should not judge. See,
He is neither too happy nor too sad.
Huh? Yeah.
He's
So
neither too happy.
Yeah, neither too happy, not too sad. But the bhakti is different. There are emotions. So somebody who is expressing his emotion, when somebody goes and really congratulates and really appreciates so much, so we should not think, he's not sthita pragya. See, that test will come when he does not get that appreciation. Then how he handles his emotions, because that person is very expressive. See, somebody who is a melancholy kind of a person, who is like, shanti रहता है, तुम उसको कुछ दो तो thank you. और दूसरा, oh wow, Prabhu, what if? That's a nature. So we cannot correlate. See, you have to understand the gist of this. See, na bhi nandanti na deshti means, like over the night down. Yeah, I did it. See, people who are materialists, yes, I did it. Means, oh, khush ho jata hai. And when something, oh, not Krishna nahi aayega unke usse. Oh, they become so dejected. Means it is more like a pendulum. When happiness comes, they are like so elevated. When distress comes, they are like that. But in case of devotee, they are equipoised. Point is that. Now that expression will come in that different way. If somebody is outgoing nature and he gets something good, naturally out of happiness, he will just say that, oh wow, Prabhu, so nice, and becomes normal. But that's his expression. And when he don't give him something and something disturbs, and he's like, suddenly he will be like a shock. Because it suddenly comes and he's very expressive. Oh. Okay. See? Can you understand? Yeah. But one gets dejected by that. I hope I made my point clear. Is that okay?
Prabhuji, I'm sorry, I have to leave for Gopal's Garden Sunday feast.
Yeah. And we are also covered. We went out of time, so 10 minutes. So we'll stop here, right?
So Prabhuji, sthita prajna means somebody, even if he gets a little happy when something good happens, he comes
Ah.
back to normal quickly. Similarly, the opposite, if something bad happens, even if he expresses, he comes back to his original form in a very short
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. True. It becomes equipoise because you understand that it has come by Lord's arrangement, and grateful always for the person who has given, and is appreciative about it, but not like something which makes him, like really happy because of this. Because his happiness is derived from what? From inside, as per the shloka, and from Krishna, as per Prabhupada. It's inside. See, measure all the relationships. If somebody is dependent on other for making that person complete, in movies, person दूसरा person makes one complete, और वही दिमाग में जाता है, there is somebody who will make me complete, because that is being posed in the movies. So then what people will expect? And then when get married or something, we get into relationship, so initially तो वो लगता है, oh, that person is satisfying my needs, but then that is not always, because that person also has another needs. And when that catering does not happen, like it's not provided, then what we say? Oh, badal gaya. Arey, badala nahi. Nobody has changed. That person was like that only. Nothing has changed. Wasn't it? Badal gaya. Earlier you were giving me all this thing, but now you are not asking. No, Baba, nothing has changed. Only that our need, which we felt that person is satisfying, is no longer being met. We are feeling that person has changed. No, but what is there is emptiness inside. And we thought that another person will fulfill. Nobody will fulfill. No person, no thing will fulfill. Who can fulfill is Supreme or our spiritual understanding or realization of the Atma or Krishna. Because once you understand Atma, you will also understand Sun, right? Particle. That's another way to understand Atma and then Paramatma and then Bhagavan. Or if you understand Bhagavan, then only we will be satisfied and complete. With that, if we enter into in a relationship, like we are complete, suppose, right? Our enjoyment is coming from that and understanding coming from that. And then we share with another person, such thing. Then it will be a good journey together. But if we feel that, oh, no, that person responsibility to make me happy to be, then it's always going to be. Because our emptiness, we are thinking another person. No, of course, that responsibilities will be there. Another person should be behaving with the environment and culture is not followed properly, and it creates a disturbance. So everybody has to follow their own responsible things. But nobody is perfect in this world. So there will always be lacking. So in that case, in that scenario, when something unsimilar happens, something ashubh, right? Because our partner is also, like not perfect, na? So some misgiving or shortcomings will be there. So when that ashubh comes, then how that person will behave? We'll give that person a space. If it's filled, then he will actually give. He or she will give. Then expectation will remain. That's natural. Everybody wants. But if it does not meet, then what? Krishna, miss. Okay, my karma. You see how that person will behave. My karma. That person is not able to. I've got that person. At least I should be giving. Even things what I can do, then that person will be satisfied. Therefore, this knowledge, very important. Then, after this, next 6 shlokas, we'll talk about how one asita, means how one controls the senses. Next 6 shloka. First talk about what are the symptoms. Next 2 shloka talked about how he speaks, right? So in that, first one spoke about when the situation comes, how he speaks. The first half of the previous shloka showed what he should speak. So this verse, it shows the quality of a Sthita Prajna by indicating what he does not speak. What he does not speak. Like say, when somebody gives a good offering, he does not rejoice. And when somebody blames him, he does not curse him. So what he does not speak. Previous shloka spoke about what? What he would speak. What he would speak. Like, Dukkheshu anudvigna mana. In dukkha, when the dukkha comes, anudvigna mana. What he speaks, oh, it's my own karma. Huh? It's Lord's mercy. He speaks like that, right? And sukheshu, oh, Krishna is so merciful. He is giving me. He speaks like that. And in this verse, Shubha Shubham, when it comes, what he will not speak. He will not speak, he will not curse, he will not, right? Let's stop here. Please read from 59. No, 59, 58. Yes, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. 6 verses will talk about what? How he will control his senses. And then remaining 8 verses will talk about how he Vrajayet the king, how he uses his senses. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you,
Next 6
Prabhuji. Hare
verses will
Krishna.
talk about body control.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
For Krishna conscious activity, we'll use it all in Krishna conscious activity without attached.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.